Where do we find keywords for our lists? Well, in video 3, you're going to learn some of the basics behind the process of locating keywords and creating your killer keyword list. Now that we know that a keyword is a word or a phrase that people enter into search engines to find us, well, how can we come up with the correct or best keywords to use? Well, one way is you can read the minds of your visitors, but that's pretty difficult to do sometimes. Or you can, as most people do, base your choices on past trends. In order to find what keywords to aim for, there is some research that needs to be done. Fortunately, it's just not that overly complicated of a process, but there are a couple of things you need to consider when selecting good keywords and keyword phrases. One would be search volume. Basically, search volume is the number of searches for the keyword you're looking at. It's either measured in searches per month or searches per day. By the way, the more searches, the better, just in case you're wondering. And another one is competing websites. You see, for each keyword or keyword phrase, there are bound to be some competing websites also targeting those same words or phrases. See, just searching for the keyword you're looking at in Google will give you a rough idea of how many competing websites there are. If there aren't that many, then that's great for that particular keyword or keyword phrase. So basically, what you're looking for is a high number of searches for a keyword with very little competition. There are several tools that can help you find these quality keywords, and one of the easiest keyword tools to get started with is Google AdWords Keyword Tool. And probably wouldn't hurt if you used Google as your search engine, but if you just did a search for Google, let's spell it right, AdWords Keyword Tool, it'll probably be the first one. Yep, that's the one. And we just click on this, and we're here. As you can see, this is the URL here, and if you go and if you use this URL, make sure, if you type it in based on this URL, do so and make sure you got the S in there, otherwise you may not get what you're looking for. Probably wouldn't hurt though just to use the Google AdWords Keyword Tool in the search engine. Now whenever you come on down here, you can see there's really not a whole lot to this, but that can be rather deceiving because there is an awful lot of information you can gather from this little page here. And what we're going to be using right now, and we'll go into this in greater detail in an upcoming video within this module, which we will then cover a little bit about the website content, which is pretty darn cool. But basically right now we're going to be just discussing the descriptive words and phrases. Now here, and again, we're not logged into anything at all. I'm not logged into any of my Google email accounts or any of that. So this is just, the keyword tool, just as we just put it in. And here, I'm going to go ahead and use the, what was that, gardening, growing peppers with container gardening. And now we just come on down here, and in most cases, this being one of them, we just need to figure out what the heck that captcha image is. And I feel like a lottery winner if I get it done correctly the first time. And just come on down here and click on Get Keyword Ideas. And this is it. That's basically it. Now, like I said, there's a lot more to this than just what we've put in here. And as we had noted earlier, whenever we put the double quotations in our search phrase in a prior video, there wasn't a whole lot of results, actually none. And this is no different here. But based on this, the other ideas that it's given us, again, that's the use for this, is to get keyword ideas, is here. And this column here is the advertiser competition. So this tells you your competitors. And this is the search volume. The two main criteria that we are looking at in what we had discussed earlier as far as things to consider when selecting good keywords and keyword phrases. So again, these are keyword phrases, keywords, and the search volume. And the darker, the more darkness there is, then naturally the greater the competition. So just a couple items there to consider when determining your keywords. Now, in addition to using search volume and competing websites to determine which are good keywords to have in your list, you should also consider how targeted, as well as how profitable the keywords are. And a targeted keyword is, as you may have already guessed, simply just one that relates to the niche that you are in. Keywords on cars would not be very targeted in your gardening niche. just, I think Captain Obvious figured that one out. But profitability of a keyword is a completely different kettle of fish altogether. One of the most common ways, as we had touched on earlier in a prior video, is to see if when we put in the keywords in that search box in Google. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. For example, let's go up here and again put in growing peppers in container gardening. This is a great example to find out one that is not profitable, because as I was going to say, any advertisements that appear, paid results that would be over here on the right hand column or up here in the top, for example, that would have like sponsored ad, that would give you an indication as to how profitable, or as in this case, how not profitable that particular search phrase is. Let me find another one here. Let's just try gardening. And the phrase ka-ching comes to mind. As we can see here, there's our sponsored link right up here at the top, and you can tell this one because not only does it say sponsored link, but the background is of a different color than the white, as well as here under sponsored links, the whole right column is packed solid. And even has more. So this one, the word gardening, is very broad and will naturally have a very massive amount of competition, and of course search volume is going to be pretty big as well. But again, our goal here is to find one that has great search volume but little competition. So gardening in and of itself probably would not be the best, but it might be one to consider in our keyword list. And this is going to bring us to the end of this video on where do we find keywords. I want to thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.